Welcome back, and today we are going to be flying out the German Seahawk. It just went on sale and I thought why not buy it real quick and actually give you a bit of a buyer's guide on why you should, why you maybe shouldn't, and if you have already bought it, might as well just give you a bit of a rundown on the vehicle. The Seahawk in the British tech tree is the exact same. It's at 7.7 however, which is a lot more favorable because you will be seeing a lot of 9.0 games in this thing. Why is the German one a higher BR, you might ask? And I think most of you already know the answer, because it has two AIM-9Bs, and the AIM-9Bs at 8.0 are, as far as I'm aware, the lowest BR missiles in the entire game. Now, of course, if we count missiles like the Ki-48 with its massive keyboard-guided anti-ship missile, then sure, maybe there's a few more of them at a lower BR, but when we are looking at actual air-to-air designated infrared missiles, then at 8.0 you are looking at a bit of kit that you don't find very often. Now, is this actually pay to win? It's a bit of both. I do think that we don't really need missiles at this low of a BR, but at the same time they're only AIM-9Bs. They're not that detrimental to the gameplay, but there is a pretty big but to it. AIM-9Bs do kind of ruin the gameplay at 7.0 at the same time. A big part of it is people just not being aware of missiles at this BR, because they shouldn't be aware of them at this BR. The second thing is, these 7.0 jets and some of the 7.7s even, they're relatively slow, and when they try to use their speed advantage, when they try to use their altitude, because it's still somewhat viable at this BR, an AIM-9B will absolutely ruin your day. If you are at a medium to high altitude and you are going like 600 kilometers an hour, and someone shoots an AIM-9B at like 6, maybe 800 meters, you're gonna have a pretty bad time dodging it, because you just don't have the airspeed to really pull out of the way of it. And sure, they only pull 10 Gs, but at this kind of a BR where everyone is going about 6 to 800 kilometers an hour very often, if you get into a fight and you get below that, you're gonna have a pretty bad time dodging them, especially if you try to hammer at someone, if you try to spiral something, and you go just a little bit too slow, this missile is not gonna have much issue pulling in. Now, that's where the real differences end, and I also want to just give a bit of a rundown on how this thing flies, especially in the up tiers that you will come across very, very often. I'm gonna start off with a down tier game right here that you have been seeing in the background, and then this thing is pretty damn strong. It's not the fastest, it doesn't turn the best, but it holds its speed quite nicely, it accelerates pretty decently, and it's definitely maneuverable enough. Now, it's not something like the Mark III Meteor. Those kind of planes will definitely outturn you, but it's maneuverable enough, especially if you are considering that if you don't outrun them, you mostly do outturn them, and vice versa. The issue is that most of the raster at this BR will outrun you if you fight 8.0s and up. And you might outturn them, sure, but mostly the energy disadvantage that you have coming into the merge, or into the reversal, or just into the fight in general. And you're kind of helpless in that sense unless they make pretty big mistakes, or unless you have teammates around. Now let's take a look at these missiles and why they complement a plane like this pretty nicely. You are a plane that can get its nose around pretty quickly, and it's a plane that people try to energy fight, because they know they can't really turn with you, so they try to either go vertical, they will try to run trains on you, they will try to do loops on you, and they will probably try to just stall you out and kill you that way, if they don't just air brake on your 6 and get reversed like a lot of people like to do nowadays. The missiles are nice because when they try to energy fight you, you have the ability to kind of just pitch up your nose, shoot the missile that way, and if they are oriented in a way where it's actually getting a lock and they are slow enough and you can get the missile close enough, they're gonna have a pretty bad time. And it's the same thing here. He's at medium to high altitude, he's not going very fast, he's going like 600, he is not going to be pulling out of the way of it. And all of this sounds absolutely fantastic, and these missiles sound absolutely broken, because they complement the plane perfectly, because they are trying to energy fight you, they are stalling out. But despite it being War Thunder, not everyone is completely stupid. Most people you run into with this plane are not gonna try to go vertical. They will try to just go straight line, go as fast as they can, and they will just kind of stay on the deck. They won't really bother going vertical. At the end of the day, it's not a 1v1, it's a bit of a team fight. And if you go vertical, if you stall yourself out, you're gonna be picked off by someone else. The missiles, when it does happen, when you are in that secluded 1v1 and someone is trying to stall you out because you're going very slow, it does happen and you will get away with it because you have a missile. But this doesn't happen that often, and I just end up using at least one missile against people that aren't really paying attention. I'm going for the meteor that I just crit, and then I notice Penguin over there coming out of that blob of red that I didn't see until the very last moment. That's why I didn't go head on with him. But for this kind of purpose, the missiles are pretty good. People that are chasing someone else are flying nice and straight. The second you see that your teammate starts the dogfight, you don't even have to fire it. But if you see that your teammate is just trying to run away and he's probably outrunning him, bonus points if your enemy is actually shooting, because then they're probably zoomed in, spraying at the guy, not really paying attention, trying to keep the plane straight. These missiles are fantastic. But that's basically most of the use you are going to be getting out of it. A4B underneath us, that has been gotten hit before at the start. No real damage, however. And this meteor really wants to go for us. Now he is going for us for a second time. We turn around and we're just gonna fly away from him. And I'm kind of trying to stay near my teammate so that he might get bored, go for someone else, and kind of leaves me alone so I can engage people again. Because I don't really want to deal with a meteor on my 6, especially with the amount of enemies that are around at the moment. Venom in front of us. We're going to try to pick him off, but he rolls down the second we open fire, and the roll rate of this thing isn't that fantastic. Rudder is also not that great. It doesn't lock up, but it doesn't give you the responsiveness of some of the battle planes that this BR like a Sabre would. So we completely missed the shot. MD450 coming in. F86 on our left, F86 on our ass as well as the meteor. At this point, I think it's completely Jover, and I'm not gonna have a great time. F84 in front of us is not really worried about us. F86 behind us actually breaks off, and the Barugan, or the Uragan, actually starts ground pounding. And I thought that he was chasing me for a second, but he breaks off again, and now we are alone with the meteor. And it's a long win and F13. A little bit scary. It doesn't roll the best, which I'm gonna try to use here by going underneath him and then pulling on over him. He doesn't get a shot. F86 gets shot down in the background. Everyone is going for the LA200. We instantly reverse him. And I'm gonna try to use my flaps a little bit, because the flaps are very, very good on this vehicle at high speeds. Do keep in mind it will burn your speed, and I just use it instead of an air brake. Because with an air brake, it's really only slowing you down. Whereas with flaps, it will slow you down a bit, but also increase your turn rate, making it so it's easier to get on the guy's 6. We get a lot of damage on that guy, and I'm gonna just let him hang in the air, but it looks like he's not actually dead. And he's going to be recovering pretty soon here. I want to help out my LA200 over there, but I can't, because this NF13 is still going fast enough to actually start catching us. Now, I don't really feel good about that, so I'm just going to go directly underneath him, because he did get crit. And I'm going to hope that his wings are fucked up enough to the point where he's not going to be pulling out of it. Congratulations! It's a boy. And then we go towards the LA200, who is still dogfighting the Venom at this point. And I asked the LA200, can you dive a bit and bring the Venom down so I can actually start helping you out. And he does exactly that. Now it does end up in a bit of a head-on, but the LA200 can't really help it. He's just trying to get the Venom slow. He's actually dogfighting him to set him up for me. And this is, in the end, basically going to win us the game. Because now, I have the ability to gun the Venom down. Very easy kill. Nice job, LA200, if you are watching the video. And it looks like he's going to be repairing and back to base. Now, I am not going to be repairing back to base and rearming, because there's not that many tickets left. And I really don't feel like going back all the way to the base, taking back off and then either winning or losing on tickets, because all of these guys are probably going to ground pound. And if they don't, they're all going to loiter around the airfield, because they're all taking over right now. So instead, I'm just going to go all in. And this is a one-way trip. I'm either going to kill all of them, or I'm going to be running out of fuel. A4B instantly gets shot down. Instantly gets shot down. And then the Swift comes in. We dodge him. Instantly gets shot down. Thank you very much. And we get back on the 6 of the Swift. But the Swift is running away from us. Now, I'm not worried about catching him. I'm just going to see if I can maybe bait him with a missile. Hopefully he's going quick enough. But he's just going fast enough to the point where he doesn't compress. And I'm just going to break off for 2 reasons. I want to store my energy. I want to be higher so I use less fuel. And I want this Swift to turn around for me, which he does exactly at the right time. He turns back around, and I'm not going to force the head-on, because with the head-on I only get a very short shot. I don't want a short shot, I want to gun this bozo down, and the Swift damage model, as well as the guns right now, aren't feeling that hot, so I am just going to be trying to reverse him, trying to get him on my 6, make him lose speed, and then just reverse him. And if he does overshoot, I should be very close to him. He won't be able to accelerate away, and he won't be able to run away from us. Now, as we are killing this guy, I want you to look at the guns one more time. And if you have seen my video on the Cannon Mustang that I uploaded 3 days ago with the giveaway in it, then you saw how hard they hit. I killed like 9 people, and I still had 25% of my ammo left, which is pretty insane when it comes to gun damage. And then here, It's just hit after hit after hit. Now we kill this guy, there's 2 more left. I kind of run out of fuel. I land in the field, I don't get shot down as I'm out of fuel at all. And we get into the next match. And about the giveaway, also a nice bomb explosion that doesn't actually kill the F-84. But if your name is on the screen as of right now, you have just won 5,000 Golden Eagles. What I need you to do is give me your in-game email so I can start giving you the GE to you. Now it's a bit of a process and you are only going to get 400 per day. But after about 2 weeks you should get all the GE that I promise you. It's just gonna take a bit of time. It's just the safety net for anti-scam or whatever you want to call it. So it is gonna take a little bit, but you should get all the money at least before the sales come around in November. So you might be able to use the 5,000 that way. I will comment on your comments so you get a notification as well if you're not watching this video. But you have 48 hours and if you don't make it, someone else will get it instead. Here we have an A4E coming in, and the A4E here is one of the prime examples of how people fight you. They don't want to. This guy goes over us, he breaks up, and he just kind of comes down on us. We can't really do much, there is no angle for us to take here. So I'm just going to turn in, try to get him low to the ground, try to make him pull as much, and he doesn't even take the shot. He flies away, and he actually flies the opposite direction, and as I'm doing the Zimmerman, I realize that the sun is directly behind him, so I can't even scare him with a missile. So I'm just going to dive underneath him again, pick up my speed a little bit. But then I notice the F9F coming in from the far right. And if I start fighting this A4E now, I'm probably going to stall myself out, and I'm probably going to get absolutely dick slapped by this dude over here as I'm going relatively slow. I'm already not going that fast, and if I now also slow myself down, this F9F is going to have a very easy time shooting at me. Bozo starts shooting at like 2.5 kilometers. He's really making sure that whenever the shells do get in range of me, he's going to be hitting me. So I just kind of pull out again. And then when I notice that he actually dodges, I'm just going to pull back in and I'm just going to spray him down. A4E dives on us and he is so passive that he just rips his wing off. Absolutely fantastic. And then after running after the F9F for a little bit, we get within range. We shoot the missile off and this guy just doesn't react. He didn't react to my first missile either, but unfortunately it was, well, out of range, so it never really reached him. He never really turned at all. I was just trying to make him turn a little bit so I can catch him, so I can shoot him down. Because, well, the F9F loses a lot of speed very quickly. And he just didn't react and he dies that way. Perfectly fine with me. We then land, we rearm, we refuel this time around. And we have to now fight an F86 F2, which actually did everything he could. He has an 163 on the 6 and 163 is not really happy that he's running away from him, and I can't really blame him because it's super frustrating to fly the 163 at the moment. Video on it soon, however, and I'm just trying to get this F86 slow so that we can maybe either dogfight him, that we can 2v1 him, or we can bait him into going slow with someone else, but he just doesn't want to take it. He's gonna dive out again. He's gonna go straight away from us. He's gonna keep his speed, and I'm just gonna shoot a missile, hope that he panics a little bit. But he doesn't. He just keeps straight. He turns out a little bit, snakes it back in, and the missile just, it's an AIM-9B. I don't expect that to hit at all. And he dodges the missile. And then out of nowhere, the F9F appears. I have been looking around for that guy, and then there he is. I'm going to try to get on his 6. I can warn the 163, but at this point it's too late. I'm just trying to see if I can maybe get something in. I get kind of annoyed at the guy calling everyone a bitch and a coward in this game because they're running away from a 163, but you can't really expect him to do anything else, and I can't really blame the guy for lashing out in chat either. The 163 right now is pretty frustrating to fly, especially the 30mm variant, because you just don't have the capability of catching people, and even when you do get in range, the guns are just not good enough because they are just that slow. If you get people slow, if you get in a down tier, then yeah, it's an absolute menace and it absolutely ruins something like the Seahawk. I'm very, very glad that they are in my team and not on the opposing team. Before I start clowning on the guy, don't. He apologized afterwards as well, and I just wanted to keep this game in because, well, this F86 F2 showcased very nicely how annoying it is to fly this plane if your enemy has one of the 3 following attributes. They need to have some experience, they need to have a working set of hands, as well as a functioning brain. Unfortunately for us, this guy on the 6 has all 3 of them, so we are gonna have a bit of an issue, and the F9F in the meantime is actually flying away from us, making it so that I can't really engage him, and if I do go for him, I won't reach him before the F86 catches me, and then they're going to be right next to each other, and it turns into a 2v1 that I'm not going to be winning. MiG-17 is coming in from behind, so I'm just trying to bait this F86 into going for me, and it doesn't matter how much speed he loses, as long as he loses a little bit, the MiG-17 will catch him. While the MiG-17 might not accelerate as well at high speed, it might not be as snappy as high speed as a Sabre, it is faster than it, and it is very hard to shake off. So I'm just trying to make sure that that does actually happen. The F-86 at this point doesn't really seem to see him. Then he goes kind of vertical, and that's exactly the moment right there when he saw the MiG-17, when he was going slightly vertical. Now I'm sorry that I wasn't looking at him, because I'm bickering in chat again, as we usually do here. But the MiG-17 is now firmly planted on the 6 of the F-86. And just like we tell Squidward, firmly grasp your kill, and you will get it eventually. Now in this case, if the MiG-17 does overshoot, which is pretty painful if you're on the MiG-17, but I am right here, and the F-86 needs to be aware of me. He almost gets the MiG-17 right there, but he notices that I'm coming in from behind, and this is almost what killed him. If he had killed the MiG-17 there, I probably wouldn't really have been able to do much to the F-86, but I'm not sure how close he was to getting the kill. And if he had committed to the MiG-17, and I was right there, he would have died anyway. There's not much he can do here. It's all kind of should've, would've. It's down to luck and your enemies. When you see videos, for example for me, a 1v6 or even a 1v2, if the enemy plays it right, you're gonna have a hell of a rough time. And it's down to us making the mistakes, not him playing it perfectly. Now I break off a little bit earlier because I didn't want to ram the MiG-17. He ends up flying underneath us. I again don't have the pull into the shot. Then we finally do, and we send him back to the hangar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.